Tuesday's game had a little bit of everything, but for both the Red Sox and the Orioles, but it was the Red Sox who came away out on top with a 13-9 win at Fenway Park.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I don't know about you, but it really feels like a Friday today. Just has a big Friday vibe. But even though it's Wednesday, I still thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. I'm your host, NESN's Lauren Willand. We're going to talk about Tuesday's win. Like I said, I had a little bit of everything. It was one of those classic, very long Red Sox games. And of course, they're doing this at the end of the season when these games do not matter to the Red Sox, but they do matter to the Orioles as they are on the outside looking in a postseason picture. They still are in the hunt, but it's going to be very difficult. So we're going to take a look at that, just kind of see how wonky this game was. And we're going to look at Xander Bogaerts and his comments to Rob Bradford. He went on the Bradfo Sho podcast and they talked about his contract and the praise he received from Chaim Bloom. But Tuesday's game, after an ugly Monday loss and a rain delay, this was an offensive battle, and this was something we haven't seen from the Red Sox offense in a very long time. Too, also with Michael Wacha on the mound, that this was as close to a sure win as that you're going to get, but the Orioles had other plans. If you were at the game Tuesday, you got all the offense you could possibly ask for, or on the flip side, you got really bad pitching, depending on how you look at it, depending on, glass half full, glass half empty, like I said, however you see it. The Red Sox and Orioles combined for 5 home runs and 26 hits on Tuesday. Baltimore had 3 triples, but it was the pitching that really hurt the Orioles. Their staff combined for 8 walks, and they hit 3 batters as well. Their defense also committed 3 errors. So as much as the offense was good for the Orioles, kind of was everything else that just was not working for them. Everything else just working against them. 4 of the Red Sox 13 runs were scored via a walk or a hit by pitch with the bases loaded. And both of the team's starting pitchers, they combined for 5 2/3 innings, but the bullpens did kind of keep the scoring in check, with Boston hanging on for the victory. It did get kind of a little dicey there in the 9th inning, but on top of the offense that we saw, Triston Casas home run, we also saw some nice glove work from Kike Hernandez in the outfield. I'm really glad he's going to be back with the Red Sox next season. And even though he was brought here to be an infielder, he's just so amazing out in the outfield. He's just really, he looks like he's played there his entire career. Like, he looks like that's how he was drafted, developed, and everything in between. This guy just looks like a natural born outfielder. So it's really good to see him do that, especially after the season he's had. And he had the hematoma in his hip. So I was really happy to see Kike Hernandez get involved in the game there. And Triston Casas, he was swinging the bat Tuesday night, and that's probably no surprise to you, but he hit Boston's lone home run of the game. He finished 3 for 4, 2 RBI, 2 runs scored, and that home run really showed the power that he possesses, and especially that he's capable of. Alex Cora, after the game, said it was a good swing. That was a long time ago. I forgot about that one. This game was a little long, so by the time we got to post-game interviews, there's probably a lot to be forgotten about. Even though that home run from Casas was not forgettable, it was just something during the game that happened early, and you're like, oh yeah, that really did happen. But Cora said that Casas controls the strike zone. He's not letting the strike zone control him. The numbers will get there. We like the approach. We like the process. We like the defense. He made a huge play at first base. Matt Strom was late the first, and he got there, and he got it and was out. The pick with Kike on that play. For everything he's done offensively, the defense is the thing that I'm enjoying. Yeah, his defense is awesome. And we knew that when he was recalled. The whole thing was that his offense still needs to develop. And it does. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But he is hitting a lot of home runs, which fans are absolutely loving. And he does show a lot of plate patience. I think that he does work some walks, but he still needs to develop. He's young. He will get there. I don't think there's any reason to believe that he won't. But we knew that his offense was there. We knew he was providing that upgrade over Bobby Delbeck, over Franchi Cordero. And with Eric Hosmer, when he got hurt and then he went on paternity leave, so it was just the perfect time for Casas to come up. And we knew the defense was not the problem. So I'm very much enjoying his defense. Of course, I'm enjoying the offense as well. His batting average isn't perfect, but he's certainly turned the heat up because in his last 23 plate appearances, he's hitting 467, 652, 1.067. And to break that all down, that is 7 for 15, 3 home runs, 8 walks. So he's drawing the walks. He has the patience at the plate. He just needs to make more contact, put more balls in play. If he wants to hit every single ball for a home run, okay, absolutely. But he needs to start putting that ball in play, and he needs to start making more solid contact to get that ball into play. And Casas was talked to after the game, of course, and he said that he thinks he's been more patient. He thinks he's taken more pitches, and he's trying to kind of work the pitcher and get that pitcher deep into account. And we saw that on Tuesday. We saw the patience there. He wants the pitcher to come to him a little bit more, and he said he feels like that approach has been working. So I certainly think it's been working as well. I think that he's done a lot of good things at the plate. And like I said, it will come. The average will come. He'll probably get a full season with the Red Sox. He'll get a full off-season spring training with the Red Sox and be able to really kind of work on some things this offseason that he will need to work on, and maybe that he didn't get to work on last year because he didn't really know where he was going to be playing. He didn't really know what the future held. And then he had the ankle injury that really hindered everything. So you kind of mix all those things together and you think, okay, a fully healthy spring training off-season training regime, whatever he does in the offseason, will be really, really good for him. So in his first 20 MLB games, Casas has 5 home runs, 14 walks, and he became just one of 4 all-time players to hit at least 5 home runs and walk 14 times through the first 20 games. You had Kevin Biggio, Michael Chavis, old friend Michael Chavis, Alvin Davis. And in his last 18 at-bats, he has 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, 7 walks. He has a 389 average. So it will get there. He can do it. It's just a matter of him really getting acclimated with MLB, getting that feel, and getting 100% comfortable. He's young. He still has a huge, bright future ahead of him. There's 100% no reason to be worried. And he's helping the Red Sox win. I know these wins don't matter. These wins, it really doesn't matter if the Red Sox lose the rest of the way. It doesn't matter if they win the rest of. We know at the end of the day, they're not going to the postseason. But to still see Casas really want to focus, work on his game, and perfect his swing, get all that batting stuff right, and get everything at the plate right, that's showing good signs of growth already. And he's only been here for 20 games. So I really do like what I've seen. It's a shame that we didn't see this kind of offense the rest of the season, but I didn't want to see all these long games. This was a very, very long game. But I still think, even though this season is pretty much done, it's all but officially done. Okay, the season ends next week. But I still think we need to talk about the good and the positives because Casas is one of the big positives now. It's really exciting to see him kind of come into his own. I'm really excited to see what he can do next year and what the future holds for him. Somebody else I'm excited to see what the future holds for is Xander Bogaerts. Excited, nervous, a little bit of every kind of emotion feeling for Xander Bogaerts after this season. We will talk about him and his comments on his contract and Chaim Bloom's praise in our second segment of the Locked On Red Sox podcast just as soon as I tell you about BlueChew. Because summer's winding down, summer's over. It is officially fall, which means the nights are getting longer, but the breeze is not the only thing that's getting stiff around here. That's right, this episode is sponsored by BlueChew. Guys, we all know that confidence can take you far in life, and that's especially true in the bedroom, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. That's where BlueChew comes in. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, but in a chewable tablet and at the fraction of a cost. You can take them anytime, day and night, so you can plan ahead or be ready when the opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you will receive your prescription within days. And the best part is that it's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. They always say first impressions are important, but what about lasting impressions? It's time to get off the couch and get back to work. If your tool needs an upgrade, head to BlueChew.com. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and BlueChew can help give you the confidence where it counts. So if you could benefit from some extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try BlueChew for free when you use our promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. Just pay the $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code LOCKEDON to receive your first month for free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring this podcast. So as we have talked about so many times, and pretty much since the offseason, is Xander Bogaerts and the future of the Red Sox shortstop. We all know he can opt out of his contract at the end of this season. He probably will. And I don't see him opting in just because he deserves a pay raise. And I think he will get that. And the ball is in his court when it comes to opting in or out. And I'm hopeful that the Red Sox front office will back up everything they've said when they said, oh, yeah, it's front of our mind. We want to sign him. We want him here. All right. As BlueChew said, chew it and do it. So they need to get this deal done. And Chaim Bloom had a lot of high praise for Xander Bogaerts, and he's one of the ones who said, it's front of our mind. We want him here. But Xander Bogaerts on Tuesday told Rob Bradford, WEI's Rob Bradford, on the Bradfo Sho podcast that there's been no further discussions, although he said there's still 9 games. Who knows what happens? And even though you probably read that, you probably hear that, and you're thinking, oh no, that's not good. But Bogaerts' agent Scott Boras said that they didn't really want to talk about contract in the season. Bogaerts said he'd be open. Boras said no, thank you. So there was a little bit of conflict there, but even though these games don't matter, even though the season is pretty much over for the Red Sox, besides the rest of the games being played here, I think that you should still wait till the end of the season or whenever he can opt out. If there are discussions, okay, that's great. But I don't think it's a red flag. And maybe that's me being optimistic and maybe that's me being naive. But I know that the Red Sox front office has said these things before. And I know that they haven't done the things that they've said they would. I get that. But I just think the influence Bogaerts has on this team and the other players, you're not going to have happy players. I mean, we saw how angry people were when they traded Christian Vasquez at the trade deadline this year. So even though there hasn't been further discussions, I'm not so worried about it. I just want something to get done. Obviously, I'm not expecting anything to get done in the next 9 games, but the second that the World Series ends and Bogaerts can opt out, you give that man what he wants. You sit down, you talk to him, you come to an agreement, a fair agreement, which will be the difficult part, and you just get it done because he should be here. He should be here long term. He should be here for the rest of his career. Make it happen. The fans want him here. And if they lose another cornerstone piece, I don't know what will happen to the city of Boston, to these Red Sox fans. It will be very, very ugly. That is what I know. But Chaim Bloom is someone who has had a lot of praise for Bogaerts. That's has not been a secret, but how can you not praise Bogaerts when everything he's done for this team, especially this year in a very down year, and he's had a great season when he's not even 100% healthy. But Bogaerts said of Chaim Bloom's comments that it made him feel good. And he said, I love baseball, man. When I'm finished playing, I go back home and I watch the games on the West Coast or whatever games are still left. Some guys play baseball. When they go home, they do other stuff. I love baseball 24/7. I've said it multiple times. I hope I'm here for a long time because I enjoy it a lot. So again, he's expressing his desire to be here. He's expressing how much he loves baseball, how much it means to him, how much even after they lose, he goes home and watches whatever baseball games are on the rest of the night. And by the time their games are done, usually the West Coast games are either just starting or they're fresh, like second, third inning. So I'll say this until I'm dead and cold that they need to 100% make Bogaerts their number one priority in the offseason. They should already be having an idea in their head. They should already have an offer, a fair offer, ready to go. They should already be, like, when he opts out, they should not let another team get to him. They should not have other teams even have the opportunity to talk to him because the Red Sox are just going to swoop in, give him the deal he deserves, and all will be well. I hope so. Anyway, because like I said, I don't know what will happen if the Red Sox get rid of him. It's not going to do anything good for the team. He's the glue. He's the captain. He's the leader. He's so respected in and out of this clubhouse that he's just not somebody you get rid of. Period. Point blank. We still have one more segment to get to in our Locked On Red Sox podcast. That is our mental health minute. And this is a funny tweet I came upon last night, and it has to do with Aaron Judge. So Aaron Judge still has not hit his 61st home run. And I don't know if the pressure is getting to him. I don't know if pitchers are starting to be strategic and walk him because he has walked a lot. I truly don't think that's the case. But Keith Kincaid, he plays for the Bruins now. He signed with the Bruins in the offseason. The Bruins played the Rangers on Tuesday night, and Keith Kincaid used to play with the Rangers. And the Bruins beat the Rangers in overtime. It's just a preseason game, so even though these games don't count, it's still good to see the Bruins win. And shortly after the Bruins won, he tweeted the crying laughing emoji, and many thought that he was talking about the Rangers losing, and he was crying laughing at them, being like, haha, losers, you lost. And because it was his old team, people were just like, oh, this makes so much sense. Like, this is definitely what he's talking about. He's definitely talking about the Rangers. And people were like, oh, enjoy your Stanley Cup and enjoy this. And he replied to someone and was like, I'm just laughing because the pitchers are scared and they keep walking Aaron Judge. Now my timeline's blowing up. So it just made me laugh about the situation, because it was also a reminder, like, don't jump to conclusions especially on the internet. But it was a harmless emoji reaction. The timing, of course, was just coincidental. That he probably wasn't even watching the Bruins game. He was obviously watching his baseball team and trying to watch Aaron Judge make history. It was a kind of a feel good, funny moment on Twitter. I laughed a lot when he was like, my timeline's blowing up, because he's been in the NHL for a while. And the fact that his timeline started blowing up over one emoji, thinking he was dissing his old team when he was just dissing the pitchers, throwing to Aaron Judge. Just funny. Don't assume. You know what they say when you assume, but maybe tonight will be the night Aaron Judge will make history. I don't know. They did clinch the AL East division with a win on Tuesday, so I can't imagine they're going to be playing him in the out. Probably DH him to make sure that he does not get injured for the playoff run. You obviously need someone like Aaron Judge in the postseason, but we're obviously going to keep our eye on that. Keith Kincaid is obviously keeping his eye on that, and our friends at Locked On Yankees are keeping their eye on that. But thank you for making Locked On Red Sox your first listen of every single day. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Locked On Red Sox right here on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Wherever you get your podcast is where you can find us. Be sure to check out all the other shows across the Locked On Network, Locked On A's, Locked On Astros. Everyone does such a great job here bringing you baseball content Monday through Friday. And now that you've made Locked On Red Sox your first listen, head on over to Locked On MLB to make it listen number 2. Friend of the pod, friend of mine, Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective of baseball, both past and present, using his insight, using his knowledge, using his humor. It is a must listen. You can find it right here for free on YouTube, for free on the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow. Jake is going to the game on Wednesday. I'm going to the game on Thursday. So I'll be back Thursday. Jake will be back Friday. Until then, enjoy your Wednesday. We will see you again Thursday. And as always, let's go Red Sox.